right. We are here this morning with Dave Filoni, and Clone Wars fans know who he is. And can you tell us a little bit about your work on Clone Wars and what it was like being able to make that part of the Star Wars universe?
Sure. Well, 6 years now I've been working with George Lucas on Star Wars: The Clone Wars, and it's just been really exciting. I was tasked with bringing to life the epic battle that Obi-Wan Kenobi tells Luke Skywalker about in the first Star Wars film. So it's been a lot of research. You know, just the first season kind of getting started, figuring out how our animated style is going to work, and if you've seen first season, when you see the fourth season coming out now, you'll see a huge leap in the technology that we've used, the animation style. It's much more like a movie that you get to watch every week. So, and everything we do is derived straight from the Star Wars films. All our props and designs come straight out of the archives when we need to look at it. So it's got something for die-hard Star Wars fans and brand new fans, because a lot of fans of the show are little kids that frankly have never even seen the movies yet.
So you're really kind of bringing them in. Everybody says Star Wars is so timeless, and it sounds like the next generation of fans is already really coming to love it through things like Clone Wars.
Yeah, that's something George and I noticed, is a lot of the kids, we did an episode in third season that had Chewbacca, of course from the classic films, with Ahsoka Tano, who's Anakin's Padawan, that's only in the Clone Wars, and it kind of took those two generations and brought them together. So yeah, that's how a lot of kids were introduced to Chewbacca though right now, and then they'll go on and see the movies and have a new experience that I didn't, because they'll say, oh, I know that guy, he knew Ahsoka. So it's interesting how, you know, kids just keep coming back to it here. 30 plus years, Star Wars is, you know, alive and well. There hasn't been a major film release since 2005, but because of things like Clone Wars, Star Wars Lego, Force Unleashed, and now Star Tours, it's arguably bigger than it's ever been.
Absolutely, and I know myself as a fan of the original, when I saw Clone Wars, I was really pleasantly surprised. And what kind of reaction do you got, like, from the hardcore, you know, the old school fans?
I think they're definitely the challenge, you know, because they grew up, I think, with the best of the best. I mean, the original was so fresh and new when it came out. The comedy in it and the action is so hard to get that type of kinetic energy. And I think the reason why we get close to it sometimes on our TV shows, that we, of course, have George Lucas working with us on it. He's kind of the master of it all, as the creator of it. And I get to ask him anything. He helps me with the editing of the episodes. And he really helps teach us, you know, what it is, what's that feeling that we all like so much. And a lot of the diehard, you know, old school fans have come up to me over the years and said, wow, this feels like the Star Wars I grew up with. And I said, it's probably the greatest compliment I can get.
Yeah, it really does, because you kind of have that humor interwoven, and I think he's the master of that, and it sounds like that kind of spills over. What is he like to work with? Has that just been amazing?
Yeah, George is great to work with. He's got a great sense of humor, which, you know, I guess I was surprised by, because you never know what to expect when you meet someone that's, you know, as well known as George is. But he's very down to earth, but he really knows, of course, cinema. He knows, I don't know, there's a movie that he hasn't seen. I just enjoy talking about film with him, and he really took me on as a student, and it's been you know, it's kind of been that master-apprentice relationship you watch so much in Star Wars, and I'm very grateful for it, because I was, you know, an animation director when I started, and I think that George has really moved me into seeing things more like a filmmaker as a live-action filmmaker would, and I'm very grateful for that experience, and it's fun every time he comes in.
Yeah, it's kind of like his Padawan in a way.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
Yeah, and then let's kind of shift over, because of course everybody is here today for the opening of the newly reimagined Star Tours, and I understand you've had a chance to ride it, so what do you think?
Oh, it blew me away. I mean, I see Star Wars every day, so you think, how can this really be that impressive? But I mean, it really was. You're seeing, it's like watching part of the movies you never knew existed. It really is, and it's in 3D. You're so immersed by it, and it's different every time you ride it. I rode it 3 times. I didn't see the same thing any time I rode it. It was really impressive, and again, for the old school diehard fans, they'll see Star Destroyers and TIE Fighters rendered in new scenes, and you haven't seen that in a long time. And for the young kids who grew up with the prequels, you'll find yourself right in the middle of the battle over Coruscant at the beginning of Revenge of the Sith. It's incredible. I'm very proud of everybody involved.
Yeah, it's got a real energy to it. And did you have a favorite out of the ones that you've seen so far? I know that's hard to call.
It's so hard, but I'll go two ways. I'll say in the classics I really like Hoth, because I always loved the walkers. As a kid, they captured my imagination. I grew up a big Godzilla fan, so seeing like a giant robot dinosaur attack vehicle was incredible, and they're just rendered beautifully in Star Tours. But I really like the Battle of Coruscant. You're flying right through the battle, and then you're falling out of the sky from orbit right down into the city. I mean, that's an incredible shot. So yeah, both of those are great.
Yeah, it's like the fans actually get that chance to be in the movies finally.
That's right. It's really incredible.
And any future plans with Clone Wars or anything you can reveal?
Oh yeah, well this season, this is going to be our most cinematic, our biggest battle-driven season yet. We're getting to a really important part of the series where just our ability to do effects, our ability to render massive amounts of soldiers on the battlefield is greater than it's ever been. It looks more like a movie. I think it feels more like the movies, and you won't be disappointed. By the end of this season, definitely there are going to be some shocking surprises for you if you've been a Star Wars fan, or if you're just new to the series. This is a great time to come in on season 4.
Yeah, it's really kind of nice because in a way it sort of evolved like, excuse me, like the movies themselves.
That's right. From the first battle above the Death Star to the one in Return of the Jedi, it was a drastic, increase in the way they were able to film those type of scenes, and we've experienced the same thing. It's not going to be like anything you've seen on television when you tune in this fall.
All right, well, thank you so much for spending some time with us. Okay, I am here with James Arnold Taylor, and many of you know him as Obi-Wan Kenobi in the Clone Wars. And what is it like voicing a legend like Obi-Wan?
Wow, it is quite an honor to do and to be the voice of Obi-Wan Kenobi, because two amazing actors, of course, have been him before me. I've been voicing him now for, I guess, about 7 or 8 years, and what I try to do is pay homage to both the amazing Sir Alec Guinness. These aren't the droids you're looking for, and Ewan McGregor. I have a bad feeling about this, so I combine the two of them and I make my Obi-Wan Kenobi. And there you go for the Clone Wars. So yes, Anakin, be mindful of the Force.
And it comes across very well. And what is your favorite part of being able to be part of the Star Wars universe in Clone Wars?
I think the coolest thing is getting to work with people like Dave Filoni, our director, who is just an amazing person and has an amazing vision for the show, and of course George Lucas, who has an even greater vision for the whole thing, all Star Wars and the universe. But also we have such a wonderful cast. Ashley Eckstein, who's here with us at Star Wars Weekends, and is one of my co-hosts as well, and Matt Lanter, who plays Anakin, and just some amazing actors, performers, and voice actors like myself. Ashley and Matt both spend their time in front of the camera most of the time, and Catherine Tabor, who also is on the show. But we also have some amazing voice actors like myself, amazing like myself, no, others that are voice actors like myself, like Corey Burton and Tom Kane, Phil Lamar, different folks like that. So that's my favorite part of it.
Yeah, you guys have a really great synergy, I think, that just really is apparent when you see it.
Yeah.
And were you a Star Wars fan beforehand? How did you get drawn in?
I always have been a Star Wars fan. Yeah, when I was 7 years old, Star Wars, the original Star Wars, Episode 4, A New Hope, as we call it, came out, and my life was never the same. So yeah, instead of playing cops and robbers, we played Star Wars, But it has been in my life throughout since then, and I never could have dreamed at the time that I'd get to be Obi-Wan Kenobi someday. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, one of the main characters. That is so awesome.
That's right. And the best thing about being Obi-Wan is I know that I have job security on the Clone Wars, because I know that he's not going anywhere in there. So.
Absolutely, that's great. And I understand that you do quite a few other voices.
I dabble in some other voices. Yeah, I'm actually doing a one-man stage show here at Star Wars Weekends for the whole 4 weeks that we're here. Every weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at 6 o'clock at the Premier Theater, I get to do my show, and it takes you in to the life of a voice actor, inside the little padded room where I talk to myself. And I might throw some voices out there like, well, wait a second, Michael J. Fox, Doc, this is heavy. Or, Great Scott, Doc Brown, you know, or if you take Dr. Emmett Brown and you move him over and teach him karate, you get Hong Kong Phooey. So I throw around the voices. I might do a little Christopher Walken, you know, it's crazy, but it's true. David Spade, or Shia LaBeouf, who's very similar to Michael J. Fox, or, you know, Christian Slater. I don't know, I might throw those in there, but then some of my own characters, like Johnny Test, who's, you know, 11 years old, who's really cool and really awesome, and he does things like, you know, adventures with his dog Dookie, and that's really cool. And also, let's see, Fred Flintstone. You might know Fred Flintstone. You never would guess that Fred Flintstone is actually this little short guy. But that's me too. So I have a lot of fun doing voices.
Oh, that's awesome. And was that something that you always kind of dabbled in from childhood?
Yeah. Again, I get to talk about that in my show, where it was always my dream to be a voice actor. I always wanted to do voices in cartoons. It wasn't so much that I wanted to be on camera and do all of that. I wanted to create voices. So I've always been watching and listening and kind of raised by the television and cartoons, but it's made for a very good living.
And now for Star Tours, which of course everybody is here today, have you gotten the chance to ride it?
We got to walk through this morning and see everything, and yeah, it's an amazing ride. The best thing is you know, they've kept some of the older parts that we had in the original Star Tours, and so that's cool because they're there and it's comfort, and there's some little surprises and sneaks if you look around. That's the amazing thing, is wherever when you're walking, just in line, there's so much to see. And then the ride itself, 3D, beautiful, cameos from everybody from Darth Vader, Yoda, Princess Leia. C-3PO, of course, is your guide taking you through the whole thing. Can't get any better than Anthony Daniels doing C-3PO. So he's got an amazing one-man show here as well that's going to be going on all weekend here at Star Wars Weekend. So great fun, and I hope everybody comes out and sees it.
Oh, excellent. And do you have a favorite among the Star Wars movies?
I do. You know, most people tend to kind of lean towards Empire Strikes Back, and I love Empire. I think it's classic Star Wars. But my favorite is actually Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, because I think that that's really the crux of the whole story. That's where it all kind of came into place to make all the ones that, you know, 4, 5, and 6 that we know and love so well. Without that and that storyline, you wouldn't have all the drama and all the fun that makes up the world and the universe of Star Wars. So that's my favorite one.
Absolutely, and it's got to be so much fun being in Clone Wars and bringing that to that new generation now.
Yeah, not too bad at all. It's great fun to be it, and I'm very blessed and honored to do it.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us today.
Thank you so much. Take care.